Welcome back to the Metro South Morning News Program. 8:46 on a somewhat cloudy Tuesday morning here in the Metro South. Joining us to kind of help us, guide us out of the clouds, especially if your life right now is kind of a bit cloudy. We have an author and business coach, Andrea Chilcote, and she's going to talk with us about a variety of things. Maybe right now you're at the time of your life you're thinking about changing your career. We're going to talk about that for a bit. Maybe you're somebody who's not that great when it comes to making changes in your life or setting goals. We'll talk about that. Or maybe you're somebody who does a New Year's resolution, and by day 2 you're done. We'll talk about that as well. Good morning, Andrea. How are you?
Great, Kevin. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, first and foremost, tell us how you got into the line of work of being a business coach.
Well, I've been doing this work for nearly 20 years, and I learned, and maybe our listeners can benefit from this, I was in a lot of wrong careers before that, and had a degree in the sciences, had a degree in chemistry, and what I learned after a number of years is that what I was really good at was teaching and coaching, and those were the times I was happiest in my jobs. And I got that at a pretty young age, but I think a lot of people go through their lives and they don't really pay attention to what's in their heart, what really makes their heart sing, what they're really good at, what their talents are. They just do whatever they've always been told or thought they were supposed to do.
Well, with the new year just before us right here, is it too late to, whether somebody's 18 or 48, to turn over a new leaf and be new?
Well, it's never too late, and this is probably a pretty good time because this is the time when some of the misguided resolutions are already falling off. So I think it's perfect timing. Sometimes we make New Year's resolutions or set goals, and they have some characteristics that doom them to fail. Sometimes we make those because we're guilty. We say, we ate too much over the holidays or didn't spend enough time at work, or and sometimes they're shoulds. They're things that we think we should do or someone else thinks we should do, but they're not really what's in our own heart.
Well, I guess I would ask this, and I think that's probably a great segue. I have friends who, their fathers, and their grandfathers were attorneys, and then they decide that they want to become attorneys, but yet it's not their thing, and sometimes they may not realize it until 10 years later that it's just not the way that they want to go. Is it too late to make a change in your career and find the right path?
In my experience, if you don't make the change when you know it, when you know the truth, the knock on the door gets louder and louder. And, so many people are struggling with careers, with jobs, struggling financially. And I think now is the exact time that we have to take a look and say, am I in the right job and am I in the right work? And I know that's terrifying for some people.
Yep.
But it's probably no better time than now to have a look at that.
Okay. What are some of the ways that someone can set goals and make proper changes to their life and maybe eventually find the right job?
Well, when several years ago, I had an experience, and I've written about it in my new book, Erik's Hope. I had to learn how to connect into my feelings and my heart through my dog, which is a whole different story than this morning.
Yep.
But what I learned was that many of us have ourselves wired the opposite way that's effective for setting goals. We think through, we analyze, we decide what the goal should be instead of checking in with ourselves. And if we let our heart take the lead, so if we let our intuition or what we know about what we love take the lead and say, this is what I want, and then use our brilliant human minds to figure out what all the steps are. I'm all about SMART goals and setting measurable, clear, specific steps.
Yep.
But they have to be guided by what's really important to that person.
Okay. I guess I would ask is can we do enough to take care of ourselves? What are some of the things that we can do to take care of ourselves and manage things that as we get older can become our undoing, like stress?
Well, that's a big problem right now because so many people are stretched so far and so far and wide. And I think we have to take care of ourselves first, and that's easy to say, and it's a lifelong struggle that I personally have, and I know a lot of other people who do. But if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't give ourselves the downtime, whatever turns us on, as a coach, I know I study people's personalities and behaviors, and some people, downtime is very active and social, and for other people it's a walk in the woods. But if we don't give ourselves the things we need that fulfill us, whether that's arts, whether that's reading, whether that's time with family and friends, we are not good for all the other things that we think we want to contribute in our lives to other people and to our jobs. And that is a fact. And so many people walk around their lives giving, and never giving back to themselves.
I guess I would ask, we're 10 days into the new year. I'm sure that there are many people out there who, a couple of days into the new year, maybe they were going to watch their weight, maybe they were going to quit smoking, maybe there were certain things they were going to do to enhance their life for the new year. Maybe there's still some of those out there who are holding on with fingernails to that resolution. What can someone do to have a chance to achieve a goal that they have set, a resolution that they set at the new year, and have it something that becomes a part of their life as a habit?
I'll give you a tip that the listeners can do right now as they're driving to work in their commute, and that is to ask yourself one question.
Yep.
What will that get me? What will that resolution get me? So if I've decided to eat more healthy foods, if I've decided to exercise, if I've decided to not smoke, what will that get me? And check in to what that bigger vision is in your heart and mind, and ask yourself if that's something that's important enough, because often connecting the activity that we really don't want to do with the real goal and the real vision is what gives us the motivation to succeed.
Okay. If the thing is to maybe look for another job, maybe they're worried about the job that they have, maybe the job security isn't the best, what can our listeners do to figure out what their skills are, that they can kind of go out and maybe look for that job that will make their life that much more fuller?
Oh, there's a lot of things you can do on a practical basis. There are many assessments. There are many things that they can do formally with folks like me, with coaches. But there are also signs. Unless you're 18, maybe if you're 18, you don't have a lot of experience yet. You mentioned the 18 to 48, but you probably, if you've been out in the job field for a while in your field, you know what your strengths and talents are. You know what you like and dislike. It's those moments in the day when you feel stressed, you feel like you don't want to be there, you don't like what you're doing, and then those moments that you have a spark and you're excited. It's as much self-analysis as it is doing something formal. And be prudent, be proactive. Many people can't just quit their job and go look for another one, but to have that goal and that vision can actually motivate you day to day.
Well, we want to thank you, Andrea, for joining us. Take a moment to talk to us about your book, Erik's Hope, and if folks are interested, where they could pick up a copy.
Great. Yeah, I wrote a book about my experiences loving and losing and learning from that process with my dog. And I was very successful in my business before Erik, before I met Erik, but without the experiences that I had from getting in touch with my own feelings about grief, about love, about what life is really all about, I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing today. So I don't use my dog in my work, but my dog has really, my dogs, since then I have subsequent dogs, have really taught me important life lessons that I bring to the party. And the book is Erik's Hope with a K, ERIKSHOPE, and it's erikshope.com, erikshope.com with a K.
Now, as far as being a coach, do you have a website if folks want to find out more about you as a business coach?
Yes, that's morningstarventures.com. That's ventures with an S. And that's where you can find out about me and my work. I work with teams. I work with individuals. I work with companies all over the country.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and I think we should try to maybe have a visit from you sometime this year to kind of check in and maybe reiterate some of the things that we talked about this morning.
That would be great, Kevin. I'd love that.
Well, Andrea, have yourself a great day and a great Happy New Year. We'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks so much.